All right, here we are in game one of another best of three series from the Alpha Navigators Cup number 23 this last weekend. And this is going to be starring in our Blue Infernal here, Big Town Straightswole. That's the alias of Aftermath's Theory, so I'll be calling him Theory. And spawning at the top part of Furious Resolve is High in the red Celestial. High has opened with a collection array here in the top, so flying his Morph Core over to grab this base, where we see Theory opening with Vault on the low ground as part of his wall. That's going to be helpful if there happens to be Kree tech, but nothing else yet. So no Conclave or second Vault. The Hexen scouted into the wrong base over here, not seeing anything. And the poor Hexen's going to be disappointed when she realizes that this is also not going to be the base. Though scouting Celestial can be a little hard, you have to go right up to the mine and say, hey, is there a collection right there? Because you can float your whole base away and start making your base in a completely different place, and that's what we're seeing from High. His first creation chamber going down here with his second base. We now see a power bank going down next to the Ethereum. And yes, the Hexen teleported home after maybe learning that she had not scouted in the right direction, but knowing that then this health camp is going to be safe to take. And she started by sending a few of her skulls in preemptively to help out the Brute here, and also manually splitting the Brute to get that Shroud skin. And pretty good micro here out of Theory. One of the weak ones running away and grabbing that healing cabbage. The other one just soaking in the juices for just a second. Wait a second, where are you going? Are you going to go grab another cabbage? Does Theory know where all the cabbages are? Is he pretending he's a Vanguard player and these are dogs? Where is this fiend going? We will find out. Maybe it's just a scout fiend. I think he turned his Hexen around originally. I think she marched this far. That's what it looks like with the Fog of War, to see, hey, is there an array here? So now he sent one fiend here. Hey, wait, is there an array there? No, there isn't. So now it knows, hey, this is where the base is. And actually, these fiends getting on top of this array. For those of you who maybe haven't seen tomorrow's patch notes yet, tomorrow, that won't be able to fly up so quickly. It won't fly up in 1 second. We'll maybe see it here as well. Take 5 seconds to release from the mine, meaning you just have to have a little bit more preemptive thought, and it will delay your mining a little bit longer. I'm sure as Celestial players, there are many people disappointed in that change. We now have a Vector out, able to clean up one fiend, and hopefully going to get here before needing to lift up this array. This array is back doing its business. And yeah, we'll see. I imagine, yeah, here comes the Vector. This other fiend getting back out on the map to do something, and this Vector being nicely microed by High to take out those fiends, while down here, Theory has captured the Speedy Camp and is just soaking in it. Those lightning beams flashed around it. And the nice little Sim City there. Another Conclave going down. We already have a Ritual Chamber, and that Ritual Chamber, it looks like Plague Axe has just begun. And it looks like, well, we did see the first Vector, so we knew that there were some Star Forges on the map, but 2 more Star Forges going down. This either means there's going to be an even heavier commitment to Vectors here in the early game, or we're going to see a tech switch. And we have our Ascension Matrix down. That means we might have the recall potential. Okay, so we do have recall potential already completed. So at least Vectors are going to be part of the early game here for High. We'll see how Theory responds. Theory's currently got an Imp out on the map. Maybe out to do a Ninja expand, we'll see. But vectors are trying to get into the main, or into the natural here, and get chased away by the Fellhogs. The Fellhogs do their job. And TheoRy maybe being a little unsure. Do I keep my aggression going? But after seeing the vectors turn around, decides, yeah, I'm going to continue into the, well, natural here, but technically third base. And with the Gaunts here, lifting up is just delaying the inevitable here. They're, oh, I was overestimating the DPS of those Gaunts, but there we go. Now it's gone down. And I was wondering why these vectors were chilling here. They're in fact creeping. So instead of going back to defend, Heist decided to creep, which maybe is just to afford enough Luminite to pump out a couple more units before the defense happens. This collection ray manages to get away, as does the Prism. And these units aren't, you know, I'm not sure if TheoRy knows this, but you can't climb down the cliff over here. So I'm sure that was just a misclick or mismicro. We have all the vectors delta jumping on top so that they can start up their recall potential. And there's just enough of them here, and some okay micro. Didn't have to micro them too much there. There's only one weak one. But after that initial delta jump, able to preserve them. There's a big commitment here to vectors. It looks like we might be at 12 or 15. And they're skimming across the map. They actually decide to do a little creeping on the way. And they do that delta jump in again, so that if once they get low, they can just use their recall potential to regain their health. And also in the patch notes this week, we saw some comments that said, hey, we're still got that healing going on there, but we're going to keep an eye on it. And if it's still a little bit too out of control, we will do something about it in the future. So once again, we're seeing that being used here to allow high to micro, and actually do a great job of taking out a lot of these units. Almost all of TheoRy's army has gone now. Yeah, the Gaunts, a few were rallying, but they decided to, yeah, head back to the base. So what are these vectors' plans next? They're going to rotate around back here. It appears, you know, like the Weaver might be a good answer to these, and Weavers are pretty good. The problem is that the bonus damage from vectors is against light, and they can do what they just did there, which is kind of jump on top and focus fire down. Manifest Shroudstone came out, which actually helped. We're seeing this number of vectors actually being whittled down just a little bit. The Weaver is doing its job, captures another one, and oh, another one going down as well. So unfortunately for High, those units were very useful in the early game there. They're now getting picked off one by one, and he seems to be reinforcing with more vectors, and I think vectors value is strongest in the early to mid game. And as this game gets longer and longer, there needs to be a tech switch. Losing another vector, unfortunately, there. And some Flame on Imps there. But yeah, those vectors got out of there, and those poor Flame on Imps just Flame on died. But again, this is the style that comes out of TheoRy a lot, which is if you're going to kill my Imps, I'm going to kill them first. I'll suicide them first. The vector numbers keep going up, and there's good vector micro. Taking out another Weaver and a bunch of Gaunts. So this is still looking pretty good. A Nightfall Infestation goes down, and that's going to give that slow. More Flame on Imps, but they don't look like they contact these vectors. Speeding around, but again, with more reinforcements, doing pretty good to stay at a good number, but they keep going down. Looks like these effigies have been spread out to get some shroud on the map to help the Weavers walk out. Be a little bit speedier and a better counter to these speedy units. But those effigies have 200 hit points. Again, next patch they will be going down to 100 hit points. making them a little easier for, say, these vectors to take them out and prevent the weavers from being quite so speedy. It's not going to help High tonight, of course. And High has retreated. But again, still staying on the vector tech. A couple of scout fiends saw this base over here and take out the link node, but the vectors retreat back to take it out. And we now have, it looks like 5 arrays for High. But still pure vector. And it's 5 weavers out of theory. And theory, oh, so there's a single vector over here trying to take this base, and with maximum gratitude or evolution catalyst, maximum gratitude is what the announcer says when you use it. Took the creep camp, but wasn't able to capture it actually with the single vector, as Theory's army came here. Instead, Theory's units head back to do a little bit of creeping. And these vectors also doing some creeping. Not exactly the best against these big old units, but there's a big enough number. And we finally are seeing some sides being added here. So that's the kind of tech switch that you'll often see after a vector opening like that. I think High's vector opening lasted a little longer than you normally see it. We also see Guardian Nexus going down. That might just be for upgrades, but it's very likely also going to add Kree to this composition. And these vectors picking off the Shadow Flyers, or sorry, Shadow Massive. Shadow Flyers are, there's some Shadow Flyers. And it looks like those Shadow Flyers are maybe preemptive, unless Theory already got a spy on some of those sides. It's a pretty good guess that there are going to be some size when you're playing against a Celestial. But they did show up a little bit later than expected, at least by me. And more weavers being added here as well. And High's gone and scooted around back. Now what's going on here? There must have been a single fiend or two over there making troubles. And now these vectors are trying to use their speediness to go around and recapture some of these towers. So it's a little bit of a tower battle right now. Theory wants to keep this tower, sends his fiend over, and this larger, they're sort of splitting up in different ways. This army here, I'm not sure, the single scythe, again, it looks like it's just a micro battle to try and split these forces, sending fiends and then sending single scythes, and hoping that you don't then all army and grab those units away from the missions that you sent them on. And it looks like High's changing his mind. He's sending some of his units here as scythes. They can be pretty good against this static D, and they can also be pretty good against buildings. So they take out one in a second, but another Shroudstone is manifest on top of them. And they have to retreat as all the Gaunts arrive. But if they... Well, they're looking for another base, maybe. Do they know this base is up here? A single scythe up here. Those Gaunts have Reaper's Rush, so they're speedy and they're on top of the scythes. The scythes get pushed back. And High is heading back up to his new base that he's building over here, sort of cross spawn from where Theory was. And Theory's bringing his army over here, and he's on top of one collection array. This collection array is going to go down. Yeah. The Shadow Flyer there giving vision for the high ground, so it's not going to be able to get away. And it looks like Theory moving back, feeling maybe a little bit overextended here. His army is big, but it's slow. There's a lot of weavers there. The Reaper's Rush Gaunts want to get really ahead, but they have to kind of wait up for the rest of the army, at least to be maximally effective. And sure enough, we do see Kree being added, which is actually pretty good against this mass. And we see those speedy Gaunts getting ahead. And yeah, I think High could have at least taken that battle for a little bit, and maybe getting some free kills on some of those squishy gaunts while the Weavers were trying to catch up, and a few Hellborn here added as well. So this is a nice, almost late game comp here. Wonder if the Hellborn, not sure if I can click them while they're walking underneath those big old spangly Weavers. Let me get one. There we go. No upgrade yet. Okay. Now this is not going to be a great engage for TheoRy, as all these units get right on top of the Weavers. The Weavers are supposed to be tanking, but you don't want to lose them all initially. A bunch of Weavers actually go down, and then there's just a bunch of Gaunts left. And this army is pretty strong against that. The Hellborn, there's still one Hellborn. One of them's already gone down. And actually they just leave the Hellborn, a few free to clean it up. But now it's just Gaunts, and there's no amount of micro that's going to keep these Gaunts alive. They're maybe thinking they can run away, but that's not going to be the case. And we've got a pretty good advantage for High, although almost immediately we see TheoRy rebuilding his army, reinforcing, I guess. Not quite re-maxing, because neither of them are near max, but getting his supply right up to match High's as well. So even though losing a lot of units there, and I imagine High did as well, but High just had the advantage. And so now High is going to send some of his Krees over here. There's Static D that are still going down, and a summoned Static D is going to be a pain in the butt, but the Kree are going to clean up a couple more, and the rest of these units are going to try and come in. This is definitely going to be an overextension now as these units try and retreat. There's a dragon joining here. There's a bunch of squishy Gaunts, but there's just not enough here. The Gaunts focus fire down the sides first, and then they help to clean up the Kree and the rest of the vectors here. So now that actually was not very good for High. His supply did drop a lot. We're now seeing TheoRy actually 100 supply ahead. And with the dragon in his army, this can be really hard to deal with for a Celestial player. This poor Morph Core is going to get taken out, while the dragon's over here just sniping power banks on the high ground. Looks like TheoRy wants to keep his army a little bit more together, which is a good idea. And actually gets a cancel on that collection array. And a few stray Gaunts being caught by the Kree. And there's actually Spriggans being added by TheoRy now too. So again, his lake. Whew, I won't even try and say that again. That's a GG out of High. Okay, here we are in game number 2 with High in the blue Celestial here, already floating his base away. That's what happens when you have a floating town hall. His arc ship floating its way out, and it looks like we've got a Morph Core also up to some business. Where are you floating there, buddy? He's floating all the way across the map, so he's got some kind of business going on. And his opponent, who does not yet suspect that business, is Big Town Straight Swole, aka Aftermath TheoRy, who won the first match with, well, a pretty good late game comp. Hey, I said it this time. And it just was able to outmatch High, who did quite well, held his own with those vectors for a while. Vectors and sides before finally succumbing there at the end in those last couple of battles. Now, TheoRy's opened... I can tell by the HP here that the Conclave comes first, but they're very closely timed. That maybe says to me there might be some early aggression. We also have the Lumberjack Imp of TheoRy. TheoRy's imps are always lumberjacky. And this is interesting. I did not know that. So High knows something here that I did not know, which is you can clear this camp with your Sovereign's Watch once you capture this base. And it's probably the case that TheoRy knows something's up, seeing this power bank here, and that this base has been cleared. He knows there's got to be a collection array up here, but instead of putting his farm, I thought it might have been a Shroudstone, but he put this farm here instead of up near the collection array, which is more common. Do we have another imp? No, it's Brute arriving on the scene. And the farm is going to be enough on its own to take this. Ooh, sorry for this extra scroll there. But the Brute is here to take out the power bank, which is actually not going to be great for High. Now, High's already pushed forward. This is a very aggressive move by High. 4 collection arrays. Creation chamber going down in this sort of third base for TheoRy. While the Brute's going to take out this power bank, and we're going to need more power. I think we see what going down up here. We're down to a single power. That's never good. And what is TheoRy's answer to this? Probably knowing it's on the way, given some of his scouting there. He's gone to creep the health camp of High. And he's already regained control, or gained control, I should say, of the health camp here. Or speed camp. And he's decided, okay, we're just going straight into where your main is supposed to be. We're going to take it out. And we're going to start with this prism. And is he going to make a skull? Nope, maybe he's out of energy there. Can we see his energy? Yeah, we didn't have enough energy. Takes out the creation chamber, may have been cancelled. And hopefully trying to get this collection array, but no, it manages to hide on the high ground. And we have a Sovereign's Watch here chasing away a Brute, trying to kill that one. And Highs really needs to get his all in, which is what it looks like we've got here, started. Because otherwise his arrays back home are going to be in jeopardy. We have that aggression did start, but we don't have all of the Argents out that we really want yet. We're on to our 4th Argent. That's good. A forward link node that's trying to be a strike node. Actually, it goes down before I've been able to click it. Here's another link node. This one looks like it is also going to go down, unfortunately. So the beginning of the tower rush faded. We have a couple fiends, so TheoRy trying to make sure that his units are active on more than one place of the map. He obviously needs to defend from this all in, but sending just some fiends to be annoying back home. Let's see where they are. One going to each array. Brilliant. You don't need a lot here. There's no armies back there. There's no units back there. There's no creation chambers back there. The only thing that can happen is a Sovereign's Watch, and that's going to cost power. So I think this is a really good play. Either that or they're going to lose these arrays. And High, again, committed to this all in, has to push with these Argents, has to get some damage done. And now we have a Manifest Shroud Stone. That's a real aggressive one, and it's about to go... Yeah, it goes down to these Argents. But the Argents have to retreat back, get in that healing ray, re-get their energy up as they wasted all those high energy shots on that Shroud Stone. And what happened back here? So one Argent sent back... So Argent sent back very low collection array, both of them very low. And more fiends heading out, so... But the Argent all-in is a little all-in-y, and these Gaunts are starting to go down here. The Gaunts are just hoping to get some fiends popping out. We hear the shots from the fiends as they start to snowball. The Argents were focus firing Gaunts, meaning that they didn't redirect that attack on the fiends, and they're not really strong against the fiends. They're trying to retreat back. We get a Sovereign's Watch here. And we see that power goes down into red power. And High pushes forward with that beam. And is actually doing a really good job. So those are low Argents, and it looks like a lot of them have Infest on them. But there's just enough to take out the Hexen. Now, a mini little surround is a couple Gaunts pop out, and with the fiends that pop out, we get some body blocking on that Argent. And again, the snowball goes in the favor of the Gaunts, and we get a push back here. There's no strike node out, but the link node's taken down, and now the Gaunts are on top of the Argents. These poor Argents are pretty low, especially up front there. They're focusing the fiends as much as they can, but the Gaunts are also here, and there are 2 effigies here. The Argents now with another Sovereign's Watch pushing back into red and then back to yellow power at least. The Sovereign's Watch allows the Argents to push forward. A Brute pops out, gets a couple good shots in. There's another low Argent going down. The Gaunts are quite low and they're going to go down as well. These Argents, it's a lot of back and forth here. Now the Argents are getting snowballed again. The Fiends are appearing. Another Manifest Shroud Stone. And the Argents have to retreat, as does the Arc Ship. And that Arc Ship's starting to get focused. A couple Fiends there. And yeah, this is not looking quite good on the front line. How are these? This is still alive. Okay, this is still alive. More Fiends going out. Okay, so a couple more reinforced Argents out of full health, but we now have Spriggans. And Spriggans are good against Argents. Even though Argents can hit the air, the Spriggans get that bonus damage. And with their damage and speed debuff, it's just sort of insult to injury. Only a single Spriggan, well now there's two, but even with that small number of Spriggans, the debuffs are just going to be annoying to deal with. But these Argents are going to try and get on top of TheoRy's units while he's creeping, but there's just too much from TheoRy now. TheoRy's answer here is strong, and we have another Sovereign's Watch going down to get that, or knocking high back into red power. That the unfortunate Arc Ship going down, focus fired by these units while it was Sovereign's watching. And yeah, the Fiends have cleaned up two of the bases, and now there's not much here for High. His base count's going down, and his Argent number is also dwindling. The Spriggans up top are, like I said, just helpful, with the Gaunts in the back helping to still spawn Fiends with every kill. We have a GG out of High.